Hello and welcome. My name is Blake Shaw, and I'm here with Summer of the Arts doing their creative conversations. Today we have a really special person with us. This is TheZeffsterr, who just recently won the Best Album of the Year from the Iowa Music Awards, as well as fan-nominated hip-hop artist. So you're originally from Chicago. What brought you to Iowa City?
Uh, College. I wouldn't want to
yeah.
say just college though. A better opportunity at a chance to find myself. I moved here when I was 19, and that was 2017. So originally I went to school in Arkansas, small HBCU, a private school, and after that it just didn't work out there. And I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and we both were like, okay, what are we gonna do? Like, what's the next plan? Because this school isn't working out, education is not that great. Where can we go to actually get an opportunity to be, you know, better college students, I guess. So my mom had a friend, and he suggested Iowa City because the median age was around 21, 24-ish. He was like,
During the year.
during that time. So he said it was a better opportunity for us, and we went to Kirkwood. He said they had a program that could get us to the University of Iowa. At the time, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So yeah, I just stayed, and I just figured it out. Iowa City was the place for me.
That's wonderful. Kirkwood has a lot of great opportunities that really leads well to the University of Iowa. So I'm glad you found that. So when you were in Chicago, were you already involved in the arts, or was that something that came later? Or?
Yes. I've been involved like in the arts professionally since my, well, I wouldn't say professionally, but we did so many professional performances, you might as well say I was. So I was in band when I was in high school since 2012. And while I was in band, I dived as deep as I could in band. So I did jazz band, I did concert band, marching band.
Nice.
And I was a percussionist, so I played drum set, I played Latin percussion.
Oh.
Then I did jazz combos outside of school. So I was a part of Ravinia, which is a very well-known jazz organization in Chicago. I got the opportunity to do the Chicago Jazz Fest twice.
Cool.
I performed at the Symphony Orchestra Center in Chicago. I got like one-on-one mentoring from the late Willie Pickens, if you're familiar with Willie Pickens. His daughter, Bethany Pickens, she's also one of the mentors of mine. So just being involved that heavy in band, it was like, why not, go full force with this music? And yes, I'm not a jazz musician anymore. Let's not say that. I don't play jazz anymore, but I am still a jazz musician.
Absolutely.
The ear is still here. I can still swing on this set. Try me.
That's awesome.
That's what I want to say. Put me in front of a combo, and I swear we can play. I'll swing for you. But yeah. So in Chicago, being able to do those opportunities, that performance, and that being able to be on stage in front of thousands of people, that has been something that I've always had.
Cool.
Just performing solo, my own art that I created, was a completely different ball game. But that stage performance, I've always had that in me. So that's what kind of led to where I am now.
That's awesome. I personally think that jazz has a little bit of their fingers in every kind of music. Improvising is a wonderful thing. And I think you're an improviser. So I think, you say you're not really playing jazz anymore, but I think you are, definitely.
Yeah. I'm ready for a jam session, just
absolutely
send me an invite. I'll come up.
When did you first notice that IC had something special? Because you've been thriving here. You've been playing a lot. I see you out and about and doing stuff. So what is different from Chicago and Arkansas maybe too?
Iowa City is a constant evolving place, and there are always new people coming up and showing their face and being involved. And I think the aspect that I brought to the city of Iowa City was something completely different than people have seen before, because like I said, I'm from Chicago. We have been the mecca of like music for generations, so I got firsthand exposure to like Chance the Rapper, the Chief Keefs, the Kanye West, the Twistas. So I saw the possibility of being a professional musician. And like I said, I was one-on-one mentored by one of the greatest piano players in the world. So being able to do those things, my band director used to tell me, he's like, hey, you know, these performances that we're doing, you guys won't appreciate them now until you're older. And now when I'm older and I'm talking to people like, you did Chicago Jazz Fest? I was like, yeah, you know. But I was doing it as a high schooler, and it was nothing to me because it was just something that it was a part of another scheduled performance that we had for the year. And now I'm looking back on it and I'm just like, man, that's such a big accomplishment. So I can bring that fearless and that what's the word I'm looking for? Optimist, maybe optimist, like that idea that it's possible to a city like Iowa City that wants to grow, that wants to someday be recognized as Chicago on the art side. So remind me of the question real quick, because I know I just went on a little tangent.
When did you first know that Iowa City was doing something different?
It was the friends that I made. The friends that I made, they had that passion. They had the drive to actually do something. And my friends that are not in Iowa City, they see that, and they always come down. They always want to be a part because they see that you don't have to just know somebody in Iowa City to do something. You just gotta say hi to someone, and they're like, "Oh, well, I know this place that does this," and I'm very big on networking. So I think my network drove me to see that Iowa City is a place that you can actually network. There aren't too many people that are trying to be, oh, I'm big headed and I can so much better than everyone's still here, and we're all trying to continuously grow. But the way that we grow is by networking and putting each other in a better position.
Absolutely, that's something that I really love about Iowa City too. The collab culture around here is just wonderful. I think there's just so many opportunities for everyone to get together and really help each other out. And for some reason, we just have a really unique, large community of people that want everyone to succeed.
Yes.
They've really figured it out. So I'm glad to have you here. When did you decide? You've been talking a little bit about going out front and doing your own thing with your original music. So you've played other people's music before. You know what it's like to take someone else's tune and make it your own. But how did you cross over to only doing your original stuff?
So I've been recording and mixing my own hip hop music almost 10 plus years now. And I didn't take it serious until my senior year of high school, where I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, but how can I apply myself more? I guess the idea of knowing that I'm the only person that can make it happen, that gave me that extra drive that I can lean on other people for their opinion and their critique, but their critique and their opinion will only take me so far.
Absolutely.
What can I do to make myself better? And over the years, I promise, I'm pretty sure every hip hop artist or every artist in general can tell you that someone has told you that you had bad art, and that can do one or two things for you. It can take you down or it can build you up. And it built me up. For years and years and years, I've had people that would say, oh, this is not all that, because they're listening to what's hot in Chicago. And yes, I'm from Chicago. I'm not from the best neighborhood, but I don't embody that. I don't let that wear on my skin and show that, oh yeah, I can make this song just because I'm trying to fit in. I had my moments, of course, but that's just about going and finding yourself. And once I found myself, I was like, okay, I know what I want to do, and your opinion really doesn't matter, because it's your opinion, it's how you feel, it's your consumption. But I will continue to produce and put out what I want, and you'll like it or not, because it's subjective, Music is all about what you think.
That's wonderful. It really seems like you have a good grasp of what type of person and what type of artist you want to be. You're just kind of getting started out already. How do you think, you've talked about your influences and people that have helped you out already. How do you think, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? I mean, are you going to be in this same mindset, or what? Talk about that a little bit.
In this same mindset, but elevated. I like to call my genre of music ascension music.
Cool.
I don't like low vibration. I wouldn't say I don't like low vibration, because I listen to a little bit of low vibration music. You have to, just a little bit. You got to have the balance.
Need that bass.
Yeah, you got to have that balance. But I like to put out, the music that I like to put out, I like to put out a lot of music that'll make you think about what you're doing right now and where you could be. I have a record called Full Time that's a single that I'm coming out with, and the former title of it was Full Time Rapper. And once I got into a situation with some people and they heard the record and they loved the record, they were just telling me, Full Time Rapper boxes that record in because everyone's not a full time rapper. So let's drop the rapper and let's call it Full Time. Let's repackage the record and let's put it out as Full Time. And in the record, I talk about how when I had originally graduated from Kirkwood and how just putting a lot of effort into what you do, all of your effort, and what you can get from it. The things that you put into something, that's only going to show what you get out of it. If you don't get much from it, it's because you didn't put much into it. It's all about being full time. So I talk about, also in the record, I talk about how I put a lot of my friends in positions to win, and I say I'm really big on basketball, so I do a lot of basketball references. So I say I pass to my homies, and my assist stats are very high because that's all I'm doing is passing the knowledge, passing the opportunities. Because I personally believe that the more you give, the more you shall receive. So.
That's wonderful. That's a jazz thinking. The community, passing this on to the next generation. So it's wonderful that you got that already. Talk about. You were talking about your music a little bit. So Full Time is the album that's coming out.
A single.
Right?
I have a single
that's
and a
coming
mixtape following that.
All right. So what have you got out already that people can go and listen to?
I have my most recent album, 222, Reading Between the Lines. It's an album that I dropped last February on February 22nd, 2022. I'm very big on angel numbers and numerology and synchronization and stuff like that because, it's just something for me to believe in. You don't have to believe in it, but something I believe in. And 222, the belief that 222 means is a new beginning. So with that album I feel as though I shedded some old skin and brought a new energy and a new face to my artistry. So that album is everywhere. I'll kind of break down a little bit what that album means. I told you what 222 means. Now, Reading Between the Lines, that took me a while. I did like a web. The little webs we used to do back in like middle school.
Oh yeah, the collages, right?
Yeah. So I did a web. I drew. I forgot what I put in the middle of the web, and then I had extended a bunch of lines. Like, how can I come up with a title for my album? I know I wanted it to be 222. I just didn't know what other names I could tie along with that. So I was like, okay, Read in Between the Lines, RIBTL. So Read in Between the Lines. A lot of music that people put out. Some of your famous art, your favorite artist, most consumers only listen to the bass. They don't listen to what the actual artist is trying to tell you. You're not reading in between the lines. You're just hearing that hook, you're hearing that bass, you're rocking out, you're drinking, you're having whatever, whatever your vices are. In this album, I wanted to let you know that it's gonna be that exactly. I want you to read in between the lines, but I will mask it behind a catchy hook. I will mask it behind a couple punchlines. But once you read deeply into the album, like in my intro, it's called 24. And I had just turned 24. And on my 21st birthday, my ex-girlfriend had got a video collage made of a bunch of my friends and family telling me happy birthday. So in the beginning of the album, I included like a bunch of people saying happy birthday to me and saying just some encouraging words. So like, it literally starts off, happy birthday to my boy Zeff. And then it's just a bunch of people saying happy birthday. And in that record, I'm a big Kobe fan. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. And literally, I swear, before Kobe had passed, that year before, I planned on dropping a mixtape called, what was it called? Kobe in the Fourth. For the fourth quarter of the year, I was gonna drop. It was gonna be called Kobe in the Fourth. I added him on Twitter, and I was like, Kobe, can you give me the rights? I had paid for cover art and everything, but then they didn't let me upload it because it had his likeness there. So I was like, Kobe, can you give me privilege to drop this album, please? Never got a response. It's okay. Not worry about it. Rest in peace to Bean. But so in that record, I talked about just how at 17 years old, Kobe Bryant was just the most talented basketball player in the world. He was just like that guy. And I said, I have a line where I say, I wish I was that talented at 17 or something like that. And I just go on and I just talk about I'll give you the quick introduction to the line because I'm drawing a blank right now. I say to let you know it didn't happen overnight. But that's what you're gonna think when you see me posted on these private flights, you know, because everyone always sees the success
Absolutely.
after. They don't see the work that you're putting in. They're not reading in between the lines. They're only looking at the base. Oh, now you got the rapper chains. Now you're driving the fast cars. Now you're with the big stars. But you didn't see all the stuff and all the years and all the grind and the pain, the crying, the emotion that went into this, you know, this career. Now you see me, you know, and now I understand why a lot of artists, once they get to that point, they're just throwing middle fingers up at everybody. Because like, now you want to be my friend. Now you want to talk to me. Now, you know, but my personality, I'm not even like that. I have this motto that I say, treat others how you would like to be treated without expecting it in return.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna always be me at the end of the day. And some people say, oh, you're a little too nice. Yeah, I can be. I can obviously see when someone's trying to take advantage of me, but maybe they need it. And if I can offer that to someone, I'll give it. So
wonderful, man.
You know, through the album, that's kind of the conversation. You know, I have another record on there called Father Time, where I'm talking about how, you know, you can't win a race against time. You know, focus on what you have right in front of you. Don't try to focus on the future so much. You know, that's something a conversation for myself, because I'm always futuristic with my thoughts. You know, and I forget that, oh, you have to plant the seeds now. You have to do it now, because if you think too far in the future, what happens to the present? Yeah, there's a bunch of different records on there that I just talk about. And I have another record that I'm repackaging as well. It's called Baby Flow, and I repackaged it, called it Trading Time. Cool. And in that record, I say the hook goes, "You can't get paid without grind." I say I feel like Hannah Montana the way I'm living these double lives, you know. And that's a record that I post on my Snapchat every time I'm working out at the gym. Yep. So I like use it as motivation for myself and for others. And I've gotten so many people come to me like, "Hey, what does it mean to you can't get paid without grind? Does it mean I have to go to the gym?" Like, no, it's just you can't get anything out of this life if you're not doing anything to work towards it.
Absolutely.
You know, just reading in between the lines. That's just a line, but now you have to deeply think how can you, you know, apply this to your own life.
Wonderful. I'm wondering. So you've talked to you know I'm a jazz musician, so I'm stuck on that. So I'm so happy to learn that about you. Your creative process. Are you do you write everything down, or do you memorize it, or whatever, or do you do you improvise your lyrics every once in a while?
I am a mixture of all of those things.
That's awesome.
I can personally say that in the last year, I haven't released any music since my album, and that's why I'm, you know, getting ready to do a press run, or not press run. A rollout. I'm gonna do a rollout soon. But in the last year, I've done a lot of like freestyling, just improvising. I've done a lot of that in the last year. Linked up with a new friend of mine, which I can now call my brother, just off the experience that we've had in the year. You know, so. He makes his own beats, and he also raps, and we've just been crafting out records just regularly. And now I understand when they talk about like the Jay-Z's and the Lil Waynes, and how that in the moment energy is something completely different from writing.
Absolutely, dude.
You know, now I'm not saying never write again. I will write records. I have written a couple, but they haven't been like, oh, I'm writing this record to go to the studio to do this record. Sure. It's kind of been, I'm on the spot. I'm rapping this record. I'll take some lines that don't make as much sense, and I'll punch some other stuff in, and then I'll take it to the studio. And then when you hear the record, you'll think, dude, did you write this? No, this is all off one flow, just one go. And yeah, I don't shame anybody on anything. You know, write your records, freestyle your records, whatever you got to do to get that energy out, because it's all about your art, it's all about your art, your energy, and your direction, and how you're feeling in that moment. You know, I don't like to say writer's block is a real thing, because I think you're not living enough if you have writer's block. Because you're thinking too much about art, and it's not meant to be thought so deep. Absolutely. Some of the best art in the world is splats on a freaking...
yeah,
so you think this person is like red, No, they're just going. They're just going, and then they look at it and they interpret it, and it's just so much energy. You can tell, oh, this person might have been angry when they did that, or they may have been happy. I'm also, I also like to improvise a lot when I make my music, because the way I can change the pitches in my voice. So I use a little bit of auto-tune sometimes, and I say if you're gonna use it, you might as well use it.
Yeah.
Don't half use it. Use it all the way. Use it for what it's for. You know, changing the pitches in your voice. So like, I can't get that same energy if I wrote that record.
Absolutely.
You know, if I wrote it in my head and I'm hearing it a certain way. If I'm in the moment, I can get as loud as I want or as soft as I want, and I can stay in the middle, and it can just. It's crazy. It gets really crazy.
Yeah. Sometimes thinking about how you want every little thing takes so much time, and it also just muddies it up.
Yeah.
So I think being able to do a little bit of both and improvise, especially improvising lyrics, that's something that I am envious of. You know, put some music in front of me or whatever, and I can play a whole bunch of notes, but words, oh my gosh, you're cool.
I can definitely say to the late Juice World, I watched a lot of his like vlogs and a lot of not vlogs, a lot of his like live videos, a lot of his live freestyles, and it inspired me because I was like, not saying that I can do that because he did it. It was kind of like he's showing me that it's possible. So I just dived deeper into myself and started to just let it out. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what your brain at the time, you don't have anything to make sense of. You know, but you give me some type of inspiration. Say if we just had a party and I'm just got home from the party and now we just put on the mic, I have something to talk about. I saw this person doing this at the party. Or no, you know, however it goes. But it's about inspiration.
But sometimes all you need is permission to do things. It's kind of crazy. All right, back to IC just a little bit. Do you remember your first show in Iowa City?
Yes.
Where and when?
Big Grove, 2008, 19? Either 2018, 2019, one of those years. Yeah, because I moved here in 2017 when I was 19. I always get those numbers mixed up.
Yeah.
So it was either 2018 or 2019, but it was at Big Grove. And it was one of my friends, her name is Mariah Dawson. She has an artist name as well, The Individualist with 3 eyes. She actually wrote for The Little Village. So she put on a show at Big Grove. It's like a hip hop artist showcase.
Cool.
And that was my first show.
Awesome.
I remember it.
Also, another thing that Iowa City is so good at these showcases. You know, I've been to hip hop shows, rock shows, jazz shows, where they're like, you know, showing off what we have here. So I'm glad you're involved in that.
Yeah.
So now that you've been in Iowa City for a while now, and you were here in 2017. So there were still some venues here that aren't here anymore. So this next question is, what's your favorite IC venue? And it can be a dead one if you want.
I did get the opportunity. I did get the opportunity to play at one of the last, if probably not the last, show at Blue Moose before it changed over to El-Ray's.
Yeah.
Upstairs, we had a hip hop show, Springtime Drip, and that was definitely in 2019. I remember that. I've played Gabe's a bunch of times.
Everyone has.
Yeah.
That's our home. That's everyone's home ground.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. I think any other answer besides Gabe's as being the favorite, it's kind of like it's a sin to say any other venue because El-Ray's is still fresh. But I have done a lot of their open mics at El-Ray's, and I'd have my own showcase in the back at El-Ray's. But Gabe's, it's just different. It's like you had Gabe's, it's like I'm home, I'm back.
It's homey, just the right amount of dirty.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have this, but every time I go there, I know like at least 10 people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something special that Iowa City has.
Gabe's is the artist link up.
Is there anything else? How else has Iowa City like supported you? You know, we have these showcases, we have the home bases like Gabe's and all of that. Is there anything else that like has lifted you up here more than you've been in Chicago or anywhere else that you've traveled to?
I can say that being in Iowa City, since it is a very small town and it's definitely run by the university, after becoming a student, a lot of doors have opened up even more for me. Because I took a year off from Kirkwood after I graduated before I went to the university. And yeah, just a lot of doors have opened up. So I want to say, just because I'm not afraid to tell people that I am a hip hop artist, because it does get frowned upon sometimes. And I want to change that stigma. I want to change that connotation, that negative connotation it has. I want people to understand that it can be looked at just as a rock band or just as a jazz band. It can be, hip hop does have that same energy and that same feel if you look at the right people. Don't look at so much the negative, because there's something I was just discussing in my my understanding media class last night, and it was about how the press could determine how the people feel. And if the press says, oh, this something happened there, and let's talk about exactly what they were talking about, the Tulsa massacre, and how that happened because something in the press had done that caused a lot of people to turn their backs on the black community and start this whole massacre, right? So if you have the press saying, oh, well, there's violence that's connected with hip hop music, then it only takes that for someone to look at it and be like, oh, well, every hip hop artist is negative. Every hip hop artist is going to promote violence. I'm like, do you guys not know that the best hip hop artists in the world don't even promote violence? Like J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar are the top 3 hip hop artists in the world, and they don't promote violence. So I don't know how can you allow the press to make that. So my goal before I leave Iowa City is to open a door for hip hop artists to be able to have regular bookings, to do regular shows with Summer of the Arts. And just be more open to hearing what they have to say, because a lot of the stories in hip hop are very personal, and you can't tell a person what they've been through, what they've done, or what they've seen. But if you want to learn, let them tell you in their own way they express it, which is through hip hop music.
Absolutely do. Representation matters.
It does.
And you're a great representation of hip hop artists, I think. So I'm glad you're here. Is there anything else you want everybody that's listening here at Summer of the Arts to know about you, or where are you going to play next? We should probably talk about that.
I'll be at Eden February 4th. I don't know if this will be out before February 4th, but I'll be at Eden next Saturday, February 4th, doing a show with some up-and-coming artists. They booked me because they obviously see what I'm got going on. They're like, you can bring some people out. You got a little influence in Iowa City. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And, I want to make you guys look great. So I'll come out. We'll have a good time. This is my second time doing it. They actually threw my last show of last year on the 30th, I believe it was the show. And then we're back February 4th. I do want to piggyback off of that last question, though.
Please.
Because I have a friend, and he's one of the reasons why I even got in tune with El Rey's seriously, because he was doing the open mic to El Rey's, and I was like, what's that? And I just dived in. That's how I got so connected there. But there was a situation where we were like doing a lot of shows out of state and stuff, and he was like, man, I can't get off work. And I'm like, well, do you tell your work like what you do? And he was like, nah, I really don't. And I'm like, well, tell them when your next job. I told him, I said, when you get your next job, because he was on his way out of there anyway, and he did that for his next job. I said, at your next job, bro, tell them you're a performing artist, and you will have dates that you will travel and you will be doing shows, so that they're not looking at you crazy when you're trying to get off this day, because now they'll be more proactive. Proactive, that's the word. They'll be like, so do you need any dates in this month? Let me know now while I'm making the schedule. And it works for them. So this is just something to tell for all artists. Don't hide behind your artistry. If you're doing it, let it be known. That's the only way you'll be able to get booked. That's the only way to get networked. That's the only way people will know about you, because this game is very, very saturated. Artistry all overall, not just hip hop. Musicians overall. It's a very saturated industry. And how do you separate yourself from the rest is actually being open about it. Because a lot of people are very closed doors, and then they're like, oh, well, I don't get this many people to come to my shows, or I don't get this many plays and stuff. I'm like, well, I didn't even know you made music
Yeah.
because you didn't tell me. You know, so I got that booking with the Rock the Chalk last year, which is how I even got connected with Summer of the Arts. It's kind of like a spider web. Everything just it's connected. Because when I first got hired at, I don't even want to say my job, but you know where I work. When I first got hired there, they were, you know, just asking me about what I do, and I told them, and they were like, "Oh my God!" They were so like enthusiastic about knowing what I have going on, and then I was always telling them every time I had a show, told them about it, and they were like, "Well, we do this event called Rock the Chalk, and we'd love to book you for it." And the marketing, one of the people from the marketing company, she came out to my show in Des Moines. She saw me perform, and she was like, "I'm booking him," just like that.
Wonderful.
And they booked me, and then they were talking about getting it booked again for this year. And you know the old saying, "Closed mouths don't get fed." I want to eat, so I'm here. So yeah, that's just kind of don't hide behind your artistry. Be very open, because you never know who you'll know. You'll never know who you'll meet, and you never know who someone knows. You know.
I love it. All right. That's been one creative conversation for the Summer of the Arts. Thank you for joining us. There's so many more of these conversations going on, so please keep your eyes out for them. This is TheZeffsterr. My name is Blake Shaw. Thanks for tuning in.
Everything's always critical.